everyone, today I'm going to show you 3 easy methods on how to make a 4-patch. I think this would have to be like one of the simplest blocks to make, but there are different methods on making them. Here I'm just going to lay out what it should look like. I'm using 2 different colors for this block, but you can actually use 4 different colors. It's entirely up to you. And then I'm also going to be showing you the strip method and then how to use a charm pack or charm squares on how to make a 4-patch. It's super easy, so keep watching if you want to see all these different methods. The first method I'm going to show you is just using 4 squares. Mine are 2.5 by 2.5 inch square. And I've just laid them out the way I want my block to be. And then I'm going to take the top 2 blocks and lay them right sides together. And then I'm going to just sew a 1/4 inch down that side and then do the same thing on the bottom row. I'll take those over to the sewing machine. I have them all sewn together and pressed. So now I'm just going to turn them. I did press to the dark side. That way my seams will now be going the opposite directions. And then I can nest my seams. So you just want to lay those 2 right sides together. Make sure that you have them in the right order so that you don't all of a sudden end up with the same color on one side. I've done that before. But yeah, so I have one seam going one way and one seam going the other way. And then I'm just going to make sure that those seams butt together nicely. That way we'll have a much nicer finish. There you can see like how my seams are nesting together nicely. And then what I like to do is I like to take a pin and I put it right in my seam allowance there. And I'm not going to take that pin out until I have sewn to a certain point. I'll show you when I get to the sewing machine with this. And this is just how I do it. You can do it how you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly start sewing. And when I get to that intersection there, right before my needle hits the pin that I have in there, that's where I'm going to stop with my needle down, and then I'm going to take my pin out. This way, that just ensures that I get that nice corner and crisp looking points there. Then you just continue sewing all the way to the end there, and if you do that pin method, it should ensure that you get a nice looking crisp point there. I don't like losing my points, but it happens sometimes, so hopefully this works, and I'll show you what it looks like. And then there you can see that by using that pin method, you get a nice clean corner. Your joints match up nicely, and it just looks so much nicer this way. And now on to the strip method. This method is great if you need a lot that are the same colorway. So I just took 2 scraps of fabric out of my box. They are 2.5 inches wide. I'm not even sure how long, so we'll see how many blocks we get. Once I've sewn down them, I'm going to press my seams all going to one way. I pressed it to the brown, so I always do to the dark side if I can. My strips were 2.5 inches wide when I started, so that's what I need to subcut this into now. So I'm just going to lay my ruler out so that I can get 2.5 inch units cut off. And then that way I will end up with a perfectly square block once I'm done. If you have a plan for your blocks, then you would need to do some math to figure out exactly how long your strips need to be to get however many blocks you need. I'm just making tutorial videos, and these blocks will all be going into a scrappy quilt one day. All right, now that I've cut all my units, I'm just going to start sewing together 4 patches. Again, making sure that you are putting them in the correct position and that you're not accidentally getting them turned around like I'm apparently trying to do over here. But yeah, no, this ended up giving me 3 blocks, and then it had a little extra unit. That's fine. That's going to go in my crumb bucket. And then here I'm just again making sure that I'm pinning everything in place. I used to not pin, and trust me, it showed. I pin now. And it gave me 3 nice little 4 patches. Really, I'm going to have to dig through my scrap fabric to get another block because I think that would look cute. All right, now we're going to move on to using 5-inch squares to make 4 patches. This is another super easy method. I have 4 different pieces of fabric and different colors, and my daughter wants to know what I'm doing, so explaining to her as well that I am making little blocks. So I'm going to take my yellowish one here and lay it on top of one of my blues, and then do the green and blue as well. That way I have 2 different colors for each block. And then you can actually just make 1 block, or you can mix and match and then get like 4 different fabrics on 1 block. It's actually really cute if you look at it. I'll show you. Anyways, so we're going to sew down 2 sides of each block, just 2 sides, and then we're going to leave 2 sides open. Now that I've sewn down 2 sides, and you can see that it's like a tube, we're just going to lay that down, and then we're going to cut down the middle of these blocks. Make sure that your seams are on the side. That way you're not actually accidentally cutting your seams right now, because we don't want to cut that there. So we need to cut that in half, so you just find your midway point, whichever size you're using. I need to go 2.5, so that's where I'm cutting. And then once that cut's been made, you're gonna have a block that looks like this, 2 rectangles, and you could actually use a block like this if you wanted to, but this, I wanna make 4 patches. So we're just gonna keep on cutting. I'm gonna cut my next one, and then I'm gonna take them to the iron, and then I'm gonna press them open, and then I'll show you where we need to sew next to get our 4 patches. And I'm gonna be pressing to the dark side again so that my seams will nest. So here I have them, and you can see all my seams are going all towards the dark, or to the blue. And I'm going to lay them down like this and then fold it on top of the other. That way they are right sides together, and we're going to make sure that our seams are nesting again nicely. And I'm going to be putting pins in place so that I don't accidentally shift anything and then lose my points. And what I should have done here is I should have actually switched one block from the other one, but I didn't. I will show you what that looks like later because I do realize my mistake there. But I did the same thing here, just put them right sides together, pinned in place, and then we're gonna go to the sewing machine and sew down those sides, and then we will make one more cut and we will have our 4 patches. Before I forget, we did start a Facebook group. If you want to join that, there will be a link to that in the description box below, and you can share all your quilty knowledge there. Always good to learn from other people and to see other people's work. I love sharing my work, and I hope other people do the same, and they are more than welcome to come over to that group and do that there. All right, now that I've pinned these, I'm going to take them to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to sew down the sides that I have pinned, and then we're going to cut them apart and we will have our 4 patches. They are all sewn, and again, I'm going to be finding my midway point, which is 2.5 inches, because I did start with 5-inch squares, sorry. And we're just going to cut down there, and then they are going to be done, and then we're going to have some cute little 4 patches made out of 5-inch squares. And one thing that I could have done or should have done is you can actually mix and match your squares, so then you get like a different colorway. I'll show you. I took 2 apart because I want to show you what that looked like. So if you mix the one from one set that you made, and then you end up having a 4 patch with all of your squares being different colors, I think that looks really good too. And then that way you have more options. And here we have them, a whole bunch of 4 patches done. They're gonna look great, my scrappy quilt that I plan on making. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel.